there's a little bit of yellow in there. I don't know if I pull away if you might notice it, but I have 3 layers of Grumbacher gesso on here with just a little bit of my quinacridone nickel azo gold. And it just gives them a little bit of a golden glow because I'm going to go tonight to the park to try to do sundown, and I know right where I'm going to go, and I know it's going to be very yellow-green there, and I'm hoping to catch this golden glow. Sometimes I put pumice in these, but I didn't today. They feel like they've got enough of a grip on them. What they are, I'm going to get it all over my hands. This is just wood. Today I've chosen to use wood instead of my panels, but in between is just a pressed board. Okay, I'm filming backwards because I want to show you what I'm actually going to paint here, which is these trees. As the sun starts to go down and the light comes back out from behind those clouds, this whole field turns almost a yellow-green. It's beautiful. And so I'm going to paint those trees with the field behind it. The trees will be backlit in the front. Here we are. Now I've just sketched it in with some charcoal because I want to be ready for when that light starts to come. So I've got my basic picture sketched in, but then I'm going to paint it after the sun starts to go down. Or I should say I'm going to start painting it, but then I will wait for the really good lights when the sun goes down. I wanted to get that warmth of the sky in. I was rushing and there were a lot of people talking to me. And without realizing it, I brought those trees up a little too high, so I'll have to bring that sky back down a little bit later. I don't have to, but I want to. Basically, sketching that in first with charcoal just reminds me that I want the bottoms of those trees to have an angle, because it has a lot to do with the focus of this painting. When you're designing a painting, there are several things you have to think about. And in this painting, the way the light is going across the grass and the way these trees angle themselves on the bottom, I think, adds to the design of the painting. It sort of makes a little V that I think kind of invites you to go back into the painting. And once again, here I'm painting these a little bit more horizontally than I want them. I really want them angled up the way they are with the light into a sort of a V pushing its way to the back. But I'll kind of correct that a little bit later. I'm trying to get the colors down right now. That's why I'm sort of rushing what the orange is doing to the sky and how this yellow-green is affecting the grass back there. I only have a short time to paint this because the park's going to close. I will put this dark in, which will kind of be the dark grass and the shadows, and then later I'll lighten it up to separate the shadows from the actual grass. I cannot tell you how many people stopped to talk to me. I was trying to be friendly, but it was difficult to concentrate. Little bugs were landing in my paint. Mosquitoes were biting my legs. And that's all part of plein air painting. I was going to put this sidewalk in, but later I mostly took it out. Once again, it's on an angle back there, but it's not necessarily understood, so I sort of changed it later. These are all the decisions that you have to make when you're painting. Sometimes you know you're going to wipe something out, but you have to put it in to remind you where it is. And then you can put it back in again later. So you might paint the trees in 3 different times. You might paint those leaves in on the trees a couple of times. There's sort of a halo effect coming from around that tree on both sides because the light is directly behind it. So where there's dark in the middle, there's light on each side of the tree.
I went about 3 days, 4 days later, some ladies out there drawing a boat, it's like
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of time to just sit and be able to do stuff like this, and most people don't have that kind of time. So a lot of the artists you see in these clubs are mostly older people who have retired now and have time to actually do it.
So how you did that stroke right there and then brought it right way back to the others? You already knew that stroke was going to be there? Or?
If you do this a lot, you realize that a certain stroke's going to make it look funny, but you're trying to make it foreshortened, which means you want to make it look like it's either coming toward you or away from you, so you have to kind of bend it a little.
Because I would think, most people put it close to the tip. You got your hands about mid.
Yeah, you have to use every little part of that brush. I enjoy discussing it with people, especially the children who come up. They're just amazed by art. But even if my painting is not doing very well, there's always nice people telling me how wonderful it's coming. I think they just love to see people painting. I put a little purple in the sky along with the blue in the hopes that the yellow that I had added in the bottom of the sky did not turn green. And of course there's a lot of red in that yellow. So I think I did okay there. So I'm putting in the lighter leaves first because there's darker leaves in front of them. But again, just like the trees, there's a little halo effect back there. One last thing I want to do before I get home is put the color in here. While these are shadows, there are also pine needles under some of these trees, so I'd like to hit some of them. There you go.
Amazing, I love your picture.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully if you stand back here, you get the idea of what I was trying to get. All that light behind the trees, throwing all the beautiful shadows and highlights in the grass. And the wonderful red in the sky that's always over there at the park late at night. This was fun. It only was about 43 minutes of painting at the park and about 15 minutes when I got home. So this was just a quickie sketch to remind me what the sky is like over there. But these are some of my favorite paintings.